of what they called the spit. And so you could go both ways. But in order to get to Eureka, it was 17 miles around. You get to Arcata, maybe about 10 miles, and then but the law was Eureka, so they had to drive. Something goes wrong over here, they got to drive 17 miles to get out to find out what it is. And by that time, everybody was already disappeared, you know. So it's kind of an exciting place. And we came from Corvallis, Oregon, which is a college town, and we moved here, and I don't even want to go into the reasons why. My dad must have been nuts to even go to this place. And we literally built our house. I helped my dad build. I was like 9 or 10 years old and built the house while my mother was in Los Angeles visiting her relatives. She came back, and he drove up in front of this tar paper shack, and she said, "Oh, you built a storage place for the furniture." And he said, "No, this is your house." I remember that scream. I still remember it. It still haunts me. Anyway, we lived there. We lived there for about 3 years, and then we moved back to Los Angeles, where we had originally started out from. There is something that occurs when you live in a place like this that you can never forget. So throughout my life, I'm writing stories. I sell real estate for a living. And I write stories. I write stories and I write stories. And one of the stories got published in an anthology a few years ago. And that story is in this book. And when I decided I am going to get something published, I wrote a novel. So I wrote a novel and I submitted it to Red Hen Press, which I want to tell you a little bit about. And they looked at it and they said, "Brad, we like it, but we don't love it. We don't want to publish it." And then they said, "What about those stories that you used to write?" One of which was published in the anthology. And I said, "You want those? Okay." So I went back and I started looking at them, and I came up with a bunch of them. And they told me, "You put those stories in a form that you would like them to appear in the book. That's how we want to see them." I did. And do you know, they said, "We want to publish this book." And they did not change one thing in that book from what I gave to them. Now, does that have to do with, you know, technical, if it's some word that's misspelled or something? No, that's not what it is. Yes, we did edit it very heavily from that standpoint, but not from the other standpoint. Red Hen Press is a small press. It's in Pasadena, and they publish literary fiction and they publish poetry, and they're very highly regarded in the United States. Small press, they publish about 20 to 22 titles a year is all they publish. And I was very honored to have them do this. So I've been on this little journey of 2 years while it's getting ready to get published. So I'm, you know, building up to it. When is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Well, it just happened here about 4 weeks ago that we actually got it published. So that's how it came about. That's the press. A lot of people say, "Oh, is it self-published?" No, it is not self-published. It is a publisher. They did buy the rights. They did do the well, I still have rights, sort of, but I don't know what happens. I got to talk to my lawyer to find out what rights I have.
You got no rights.
I got no rights. Anyway, but I'm very happy that I'm very happy. So that's a little bit about the book. Now,